And there we are. We are starting with the round of 16 between Revenge of Night and InLove. And you might be kind of thinking that you know RVK, and you probably should be, because RVK are, as we are going to be playing on Arabia, champions from times past, from about 5 years ago already. They were having one of the longest streaks, or basically the longest streaks in RTS League history. They won about 5 seasons in a row. I think so. It was a time when actually Dogao was playing in there. He was joined by other top expert players like, I think it was either Stark or VH. Right now I'm not entirely certain. I'm thinking it was actually VH. But basically the toppest players of the time playing in RTS League as basically is the same as today. For example, in the first round of 16 we saw, or we didn't exactly saw, we didn't see it because it was at an impossible time for us to stream, unfortunately, but it was played by FedEx, by Nikov, so well, plenty of high quality players, and this match is not gonna be that different because the overall level of InLove and RVK Revenge of Night is basically around 2k, all 6 players in here. This is gonna be very solid 19 to 2k plus team game and clan war overall, so quite curious how it's gonna be played out. And since we start in our Arabia, which should be the home map of RVKs, well, I'm quite curious how it's gonna be playing out. We are looking at basically the same civilizations, if I see things correctly. Yes, I do. There's gonna be Mayan, Han, and Mongol for both sides, so nothing really all that surprising in that. But yeah, well, they were actually asking if they can go for some double shifts or whatnot, so they were probably thinking about it, but maybe they just kinda agreed in the game room not to really do that. But we are already switching somewhere to the top because there is potentially gonna be some kind of stealing, is there? Now they're actually the teammates, but where is potentially the stealing gonna be happening? In here. Yeah, right now Pete Martel is actually trying to steal a board for a white court. You can see that white court is just basically in pursuit, but he shouldn't be disrupting that. Yeah, as the TC is quite close by, right now he's doing it quite well. Right now Pete Martel with of course his scout, that means one board stolen, and can he actually protect enough of his own, because he's having one of them in the forefront, which is of course not discovered by a white card so far. The second one is in here, guarding basically the deer, and that basically means that if this is gonna be also remaining for Pete Martel, then he's gonna be having a very nice start. And considering that he's a Mongol, he's actually the Mongol, and he's gonna be getting the piggy, that's gonna be oh, hello, he has already discovered the one at the bottom. This might be basically the similar situation as we have seen in the first round of 16 today, where basically Mongol also stole a ball from the opponent, and he was having quite a nice start. Unfortunately, in the end, it wasn't enough, but, well, let's see, because in here, it's probably gonna be quite a bit different, as we are having maybe a bit of a pause here, apparently, and already coming for the board, because he really doesn't want to lose the ball if he has already stolen one. So yeah, definitely makes plenty of sense in there. Otherwise, I don't think there is any kind of extra stealing happening on the left flank. The Eagle Warrior is just coming around, not having any kind of luck, just basically gonna be maybe discovering the Wolfie, but that's about it. One of the piggies is already under second as well. He has already actually eaten both of the piggies, doesn't want to be surprised by anything at all, so that is quite an interesting start. Because to go through both piggies by 6 minutes, that's quite soon, to be honest. That's very soon. You can see just second piggy right now there. Or have I seen something different? No, I haven't. I saw it correctly. These are 2 boars. These definitely are 2 boars, eaten so soon. That's strange. But well, okay, he's a Mongol, so it kind of makes sense. He's gonna be gathering a bit more efficiently. So I kind of guess, why not? Why not indeed? As there is already a bit of a meeting actually right next to Pete Martel's base, because right now InLoves are probably recognizing that this is gonna be trouble. The Mongol with the extra boar and not having a stolen one. You can see that's one being butchered, second, third, yeah, that's already all 3 of them. So he's gonna be absolutely safe, and the disadvantage for the green player is gonna be absolutely real. And since it's a Mayan, well, it's gonna be slowing him down a bit. Of course, it's gonna be, as always, as Noisik is gonna be advancing as the very first one into feudal as the Mongol, coming for the scout cavalry as is usual, and already also working on the wall in, which is gonna be needed. He needs to somehow put a wall there and there as well, mustn't forget about this, because the gold is a bit more into the forefront. He definitely needs to be careful about that, because Kamigawa might be having some kind of thoughts. You can see already barracks down. Is he gonna be rushing? I cannot think so that he might. Yeah, he's gonna be rushing. So it's gonna be a bit more malicious from him, already coming for a wall in. And I'm slightly surprised that he didn't even use, for example, this stone, and much more importantly, the hill there. You can see he's already standing on top of the hill. So he recognizes the importance of it, but for some reason, he went for this shorter wall, rather than like this, and maybe even across the hill would have been useful, because of course he's gonna be coming for archers. So potentially if this is gonna be taken from him, and God forbid, even for example by some kind of trash or whatever from Noisy, which is highly unusual and unexpected from Mongol, of course, but who knows, could happen, and that may be a bit of an issue for him. But so far, let's follow up with the Drash. And is there gonna be a Drash on the right side? I definitely don't think so, because the other Mayan that is on here, White Court, he was having the war stolen, and that's gonna be putting him into a very difficult situation at the start, so I'm not entirely certain what's gonna be happening for him, as Pete Martel is already advancing into feudal as well, and that is gonna be resulting from the Mongol, of course, into the scout cavalry. So, the rush is arriving, as of course the stable is just now going to be built. And, oh well, careful there. Careful there, Noisy, because this is a bit of a quick wall-in is definitely needed in there. Nicely played, because that was potentially quite dangerous, delaying the stable for quite a bit. It's already quite delayed, because Noisy is in the feudal age for quite some time, so this is already not ideal. So Drash is already actually doing his job, slowing the opponent down. So that's nicely played in here, as he unfortunately hasn't finished with the wall-in yet. He was just trying to kinda quick wall with the basements and whatnot. So it makes sense in that sense that he actually doesn't want to be breached by any size that he didn't scout or whatnot. So he just wants to be basically safe from all possible problems that might be coming into his base and whatnot. And otherwise, plenty of walling coming up by Pete Martel on the right side, as you're gonna be waiting, of course, for the first few horses coming up out of the stables. So exactly this dude. As the archer range is already finished, second is gonna be finished in reasonable time as well. And he's already quite nicely protecting himself. You can see the palisades already kind of halfway ready. Or not even halfway, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that the gold is fairly secure, and that is gonna be resulting into those scouts potentially gonna be able to get on those hunters-gatherers rather. Not really for much longer, because of course the archers are already coming up, and there is already the Eagle Warrior Guardian, and maybe, yeah, a few spearmen as well, and they're gonna be coming, of course, into the battlefield very soon to resolve the situation. So that's that. Feudal ages are coming up curiously close by Soxy and Kamigawa. They have both went with 27, so they are both basically fast castling, which is gonna be telling us, or rather, are they fast castling? That's kind of interesting thought right now, because I would be expecting that if he was, he would be basically hurrying up to get the stone and for the castle. It almost seems like that he basically just went for a bit stronger economy and gonna be advancing into fairly standard feudal age build order from there on. So that's a bit of a interesting build up in there. As of course he needs to defend himself quite a bit, as Noisy already does have a small herd of animals in here called scouts. Well, not really the animals called scouts, but of course the riders in there, and they will be just coming around, discovering only one spearman, but otherwise plenty of elves to potentially kill. But still, this is nicely done. There isn't a hole in the wall in there, so he would have to go all the way through the TC, potentially getting some extra damage in here. So that should be fairly easy to defend. So actually, very nice base building right now by Kamigawa. That's really well done overall. And even though it's a quite compact base, so might be a bit of an issue a bit later. For the early game against those scout cavalry, it's exactly what you should do, and it's gonna be fairly safe, which is of course gonna be probably resulting into Noisy seeing that and switching into pocket. You can see already that is happening. It's gonna be coming into, of course, Soxy, who is not really prepared for that all that much, only on the woodline you can see, and he's already working his way through the forest in there. Yeah, this one Gull is actually working to make a hole in there, but the gold is gonna be wide open, especially with QL Rook already scouting him. And with all of this coming in there, yeah, that's gonna be a veritable disaster actually. No, not all of them at once. You could have just switched them around. But oh man, this is bad. This is pretty bad right now, because Kamigawa played well, but unfortunately he probably didn't tell Soxy or some such. He didn't tell Soxy that of course the guys are gonna be running around him, which he definitely should have seen, and that's already gold gone, and much more importantly, 3 villages killed. It's gonna be like 4? I don't think so. Maybe if this girl is actually gonna be making her way through, but really 3 villages at this point, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot for a pocket, and even for a hand pocket, this is gonna be potentially an issue, as those guys need to flee as well. And even though Castle Age has been hit, those dudes, they did their damage, and that was very nicely executed by InLove. Well, we're gonna be, of course, losing at, or rather looking at scouts from InLove themselves, or rather, scouts for RVKs themselves coming into a bit of attack. Also with plenty of skirmishes. That's actually very nicely played in here, as that's gonna be a fairly nasty surprise for White Court, who apparently wasn't counting with anything like that. You can see he has finished the tower to basically protect the front gold, makes plenty of sense, but otherwise he doesn't have anything else than just archers. And that is gonna be resulting into quite heavy losses. Quite heavy losses right there, and this might be actually setting up quite nice advantage for RVKs in there, because they are gonna be having to recuperate somehow from the losses of all the villages in here. And that will already happen with the archers coming through, but are they actually coming through? Because there is only one way, right next to TC. Otherwise, all this is nicely blocked, so not really any kind of problem with that. The wall seems to be fairly impenetrable up until now, but yeah, there is still gonna be an opportunity to actually push through. But since the pocket player Rook is already through, he does have a few knights, and knights are kinda significantly better than the archers, so only one who is actually able to do something about it is this pikeman, or rather spearman, pikeman. He would love to be a pikeman, of course, but not really. But he is quite nicely ready for what's going to come in, what's going to come, and Kamigawa with Noisik advancing into Castle Ages as well are gonna be following up with the left flank. So the right flank apparently is gonna be the one sticking to the feudal age for a bit longer. I can see that both White Court and his team opponent, Pete Martel, are gonna be just having a bit of fun with each other, and I'm kinda thinking that this should be manageable for Martel, but he needs to be really careful to go right next to TC to protect against the scouts, because otherwise the skirmishes would be really easy to kill. You can see already losing a few villages in there, and that is actually quite effective raiding right now by InLove. They have already been significantly effective in Sox's base. They have killed 3 gold miners in there just a few minutes ago, while he was advancing into Castle Age. You can see right now he's 41 villages, which is actually surprisingly enough still the most villages, as the enemy pocket that's InLove, Rook, is at 39 villages. So I'm fairly surprised really that Soxy is still much better off. And if he didn't lose the villages, you would be like, of course, even much better off, even more better off. So this is, oh well, hurting Pete Martel quite significantly, because with Rook joining there as well, this is gonna be needed to be joined by the red player. Yeah, he was unfortunately somewhere else, and he's gonna be right now returning back, but already the damage is being done so much and so significantly, then I'm not entirely certain that this is actually gonna be a situation that RVKs will be able to get back all that much from. Because at this point, InLoves are already trying to jump up on the score in there, on the team, even though they are not really winning yet. They have significantly slowed down the opponent's economy, and they kinda have to thank themselves for that, because of course, if they will let in Soxy to boom as he was ready to do, then yeah, he might be just a bit more dangerous than he is so far now. So he's gonna be switching somewhere else, because of course this early aggression seems to be kinda over. Castle Age coming for White Court. Pete Martel just not yet. Let's switch to see how many resources he's having. Almost there, 700. But he's only at 35 villages. Only 35. It's not like Noisik is a whole lot better at 37. So the Mongols are not really all that different right now. Looking also at the top where Kamigawa is having pretty decent army and advancing exactly on the Mongol. But well, the Mongol, what he's actually gonna do? He should be probably switching into a few knights here and there. But apparently he chose to go for crossbowman. Interesting choice. Interesting choice indeed. You usually see a few knights in the Castle Age, as they are kinda more natural for the Mongols, with having the stable already up and whatnot. Yeah, but looking at this, how he's actually occupying the very nice hill, this is gonna be a bit of an issue, and at this point, I'm kinda thinking that Noisik is actually regretting the choice, and to be honest, it doesn't really make all that much of a sense, because he knew that Kamigawa is against him, and he's a Mayan, and Mayan is just not gonna do anything else than crossbowman, because he doesn't have anything else in the Castle Age on the AoC. So this is really strange choice by Noisik, really strange that he didn't go for the horses, because they would be helping him in this encounter, and he's gonna be needing assistance very soon, and the assistance is already gonna be late, because of course those horses are right now on the right in not huge numbers, not really any kind of huge numbers, but oh well, this is potentially gonna be pretty big trouble, because of course the crossbowmen, if the horses get into the fight fast enough and deal with the Wolfie in there, Was a weird battle. Didn't really understand all that much, because apparently Soxy is very afraid to go under the TC fire, but at the same time they wanted to engage the crossbowman through, of course, Kamigawa, so that was really weird. And right now it's uncoordinated, heavily uncoordinated, unfortunately for RVKs, and he could have made so much more out of the situation, because right now they actually didn't do a whole lot. They kill about 2-3 villagers. That's not bad. That's not bad, but they basically gave all the time in the world to the blue player to go help his teammate. And right now, yeah, well, this is not gonna be such a threat anymore. Bloodlines for QL Rook. Yeah, that's gonna be actually an advantage above Soxy in here, as Soxy doesn't have them yet. As we are looking to join the fight on the right side as well. Apparently Pete Martel is gonna be right now alone. It definitely makes sense, because the red horses are on the other side of the map, kinda idling where they want, as he is trying to retreat bad part. It's gonna be a bit too late yet again, as of course University even not finished. Can see missing a few hit points in. It's kinda sad. Just literally one hit with the hammer. Oh well. Well, it just happened. That was a bit of a wasted time of the villager, but nothing really all that major, as those crossbowmen are still prepared. But the problem is that he's losing tons of economy in here, and that means also slowing him down all around. So the economy is so far 79 for QL Rook, 46 and 50 for White Court and Noisig, whereas for the opponents 82. Almost caught up with by QL Rook, Soxy, and the rest 59 and 37. Yeah, actually this kind of raiding is making life very difficult for Pete Martel. And oh well, this is actually quite a big problem for him. Even though he's gonna be finishing with the TC in there, finally securing the gold mine for him, he's already quite falling behind. And if the opponents can actually somehow sustain this pressure, then not even Soxy, who is so fast, booming slightly better, is gonna be able to overcome this, because he's not that much better. Not that much better. You can see he's basically just 5 villages more. At this point it's not really all that much of a difference. Yeah, there was the slaughter of the idols in there and of the Wolfie as well. Nothing all that major, but InLoves are definitely feeling it. They are definitely feeling that they do have the opportunity to come forward. As well, this is gonna be Kamigawa only alone, and he's fighting uphill. Don't do that. Don't do that, especially with the horses coming up. He needs to retreat as fast as possible, and he needs a kind of assistance, which is not coming, as all the horses are waiting in Soxy's base for some kind of obscure reason at this point. He's not even helping at the bottom. He could be killing this, no problem, with this kind of cavalry. But much more importantly, he's gonna be severely needed at the top. And even though this is a very nice base building by Kamigawa, and he doesn't have all that many problems defending this, he could definitely use the help, because it's going to be kind of slowing down his growth of the economy, his economical growth. And that is exactly what's important right now in the mid game, because we are at 30 minutes and this is what should be happening. So if any kind of slowdown is gonna be happening for the yellow player, he's gonna be really paying for it very soon. And you can see blue sending so many knights, basically all of them to the top, trying to find some kind of way through. Oh well, there's a huge way through into this stone, as he's apparently trying to get stone for the castles, the Mayan player. Definitely makes sense, but is he having some kind of place for them? I don't exactly know. He's probably gonna be trying to fit it somewhere here. Or maybe just here. Yeah, both kinda make sense. But you need to be switching also into the pocket, where Soxy is yet again under a pretty heavy attack that basically glanced off Kamigawa. So this is basically for the second time in the game. It was also in the early feudal age that Kamigawa was able to basically defend himself without any kind of pressure, but that is meaning that the players attacking him are gonna be switching into pocket into Soxy. And Soxy yet again did not count with that at all, and you can see those dead villagers everywhere. Oh well, and he's dropping to 103, which is already right now by 5 less than QL Rook. So considering he was 5 ahead, he has basically lost about 10 villages maybe. He's having plenty of idols in there, so even though he's coming back home with all the army that he's having, yeah, well, those crossbowmen already making their way here as well from Noisig. That is gonna be turning things around at least a bit. So gold not entirely safe. Not really safe all that much in here, as we're also gonna be switching a bit more to the right to see what's happening in there. There's still a hole in the wall, as purple is trying to somehow survive at 52 villages. Not really that bad, but still 20 less than the next best, as Soxy is sending plenty of horses, of course, into the enemy base as well. And apparently we are heading into a stage of the game where everybody is everywhere. You can see that Soxy is trying to raid his opponent, but he's not doing it as effectively as effectively as InLove's are, and all those horses with the crossbowmen, they are making way through in and killing villages in the throngs. Killing villages in throngs, most definitely. And even with the reinforcements coming across the whole map, they are definitely having good chances of making something happen. But he needs to be careful, because of course Yellow is not gonna be letting his teammate die all that much and all that easily. Moving ever forward with all those crossbowmen. We so far don't see any kind of Imperial Age even at least coming in here. And well, he's letting his teammate in. Nice idea. Deleting the house, I think it was house, so that he can defend a bit more carefully. But all those dead bodies in there, you can see that of course QL is just running away. 107 for Soxy, not bad, but QL was able to get into advantage at 117, and Imperial Ages are finally coming in, and they're gonna be for InLove's first for both flanks. Surprisingly enough, I would be really expecting that the pocket would be the fastest to advance, but apparently not, as just run out of gold right about now. Defending himself quite alright against Soxy, but on the right side there is also still a bit of raiding going on by White Core, who is quite successful in killing a few crossbowmen and maybe a village here and there, keeping Pete Martell still at his sad 52 villages at this point. Yeah, 52 when Noisy is at 83, White Core at 90. This is not boding very well. This is not boding very well for RVKs, because this is a very tough situation as far as economies go. And, well, even though the horses are right now moving forward, trying to deny the goal, this was kinda impatient by QL moving into his gold without TC and without any kind of protection. He's definitely paying for that. You can see all those dead villages in there. This is actually gonna be significant level in the field, because he has lost about 10 villies. And right now Soxy is jumping ahead on the economy at 121, and QL is falling to 103. Oh well, this was a mistake. This was a big mistake by QL that he might be significantly paying for actually. And this is like a second life for Soxy. This is literally second life for Soxy, because he was in a very difficult situation, and right now it seems that InLove might have actually missed their opportunity, and they will be the ones under significant attack, because the armies are definitely mustering right next to Kamigawa, who is advancing into Imperial Age with Soxy as well. And even though QL is coming there also, it's suddenly looking very interesting for Revenge of Night, on the left flank at least. The right flank is pretty terrible so far, and it seems that it's gonna be very difficult, and Soxy will have to basically invest quite plenty to save his teammate, and to be honest, he already should be doing that, because I don't see how Pete Martell could be surviving against White Core just on his own. He just cannot. He literally cannot. You can see White Core at 105 villages, Pete Martell 57, that's absolutely no chance, especially since Green is already camped right in front of his base. So RVKs are kinda setting themselves to fail. This is not really well thought through. I'm kind of thinking that RVKs are missing some kind of team communication, because this should be kind of evident. He does have plenty of crossbowmen, that's kind of nice, but once we're gonna be getting, probably, I will be liking some kind of Mangonel, but this is gonna be just Rams, I'm thinking. Yeah, just Rams. He's gonna be just basically knocking through all of those buildings, getting into enemy right as much as he can. And since of course the Purple's economy is not gonna be anything strong, he's absolutely not even thinking about going into the Imperial Age. He needs the assistance now. Even now is late, because Red is here with all his army. When the battle is gonna be apparently taking place here, with the Arbalest even being researched for Noisy as the Mongol, but yeah, well, why not when he had the army? And let's see if he's gonna be switching into Mangorais sometime soon. So far just Wallin, preparing for the late game and whatnot. He's already having the castle and getting for Caravan and Chemistry, which is still kinda both useful for the Arbalest as well, because the Chemistry is gonna be helping in there. As finally the Cavaliers are in for the first player for QL, as he's already coming for the Paladin in there. But Red just now coming for Cavaliers and played Bard in armor, so he's gonna be slightly slower. Ever so slightly slower, as this is really aiming up for a pretty big battle. And can he actually finish with this castle? He should be. He should be able to, because he's already having... Oh well, that's a huge army of Arbalest. That's even a larger army than what Noisy is having. And oh well, once the Cavaliers hit, this is gonna be a good opportunity to actually kill them. Just due to the sheer number of those Arbalest, which is higher, even through the hill advantage. Those Cavaliers should be coming there. Come in, already come in. Yeah. right now just engage with the enemy and fool him into a bad battle, which is exactly right now happening. So that's very nicely played. Very nicely played indeed. I'm just right now looking at the minimap at the bottom, which is not looking all that great for the purple player. Let's just have a very quick look in there. And yep, of course, he is losing his base. Castle has been built in his face, quite literally. He's also gonna be losing plenty of stone in there. And well, purple doing what he can. He's literally doing what he can with the resources that he's having. 62 villages against 112. Yeah, well, you can kinda guess how it's gonna go. With Cavaliers finally making an appearance from Soxy, but is it gonna be enough? Well, at this point, basically what needs to happen is Pete Martel to die as slow as possible. He needs to basically keep White Court busy. And needs to keep him busy as long as Kamigawa and Soxy need to somehow win the left side. But to be honest, at this point, it doesn't look all that promising. Because they are severely passive RVKs on the left side. They're not really having all that much of a push into offensive. They are apparently choosing right now to go for a bit of a defensive. Paladin coming for Soxy, he's gonna be dealing with that fairly soon. Even though he's gonna be losing a few villages, it's nothing really all that major at this point. Still being about 120, that's more than enough. But careful about that. He might be losing a bit more here than he's actually ready for. You can see QL Rook at 136, Noisig 142, 117 for White Core. The economies are pretty strong. For the opponents for RVK, not bad for Soxy and Kamigawa, even though Soxy right now actually lost about 20-30 villages. That was actually much more effective than I thought. Yeah, maybe Soxy was thinking the same as I, but well, should have been a bit more careful. Because right now that's a significant blow as opposed to the enemy. Because he needs to produce the most expensive units in the game, the Paladins. And he somehow also needs to help his teammate Pete Martel, who is at this point on the precipice. Just trying to secure as many villages as possible. But it's not really looking all that great for him, because of course he's gonna be losing this base as well. And he's not going to be able to defend that with just crossbowmen. So plenty of horses just basically running around for InLove. Trying to, yeah, do exactly this. This is exactly what he needs to do. He's having just basically 10 horses, and he's luring behind him like 20. So that's a damn good trade. That's a damn good trade, because those horses are missing, for example, in Purple's base, trying to help him defend, whereas Blue is already there with the rest of the army and basically supporting his teammate. That's very well done. Very well done indeed, as apparently Teal is also sending finally the Mangurais. They are gonna be joined by Siege Rams sometime soon as well, as the Mangurais are fully upgraded. Yes, they are. And those horses, oh well, actually Soxy is missing Blast Furnace. He's missing the last upgrade. He's basically just +2, as opposed to the Paladins being +4 from the blue player, which is of course quite a significant disadvantage for the red player, and he will somehow have to make up for that. But is he gonna be having enough time? Because of course green is eating quite inevitably into Pete Martel. Pete Martel still keeping decent amount of villages, considering the circumstances, but it also means that he's not really all that present in the battlefield. And on the battlefield, and oh, but he's gonna be losing lives. Oh, come on. Did he miss it? Oh yeah, he wasn't really paying all that much attention, but still he killed at least one of the villages. So it seems like that maybe Purple will be able to somehow escape, even though for just a moment, nothing really all that long lasting, as Yellow is already trying to move forward as well. It's actually not a bad idea at all, because he's trying a bit of a diversive action, as it seems to be working. Because it seems like that actually Noisig is not really all that aware that he has just lost the castle and about 10 of villages. You can see this is so many dead bodies. Even though he is at 150 villages still. Oh man, he lost plenty in there. Not entirely certain though what he would be needing so many villages for. Like 160, 170, that's probably a bit too much at this point, even for a Mongol. Even for a Mongol, but well, that was a problem for him, solved by the enemy, and in the end it's not gonna be any kind of huge loss and huge blow to the economy. So, blue and red and yellow and green. They are having a bit of fun next to the castles, which is of course quite a good battlefield for InLoves. It's gonna be an advantage for them, of course, as we are also looking Pete Martel buying a bit of stone. And is he trying to drop a castle? Or whatnot? Apparently a bit of a problem with food for QL Rook in there. But what is actually Purple right now doing with all the stone? Kinda confused. Maybe he's building something in there. Maybe he was just going for a few more extra TCs. Could be, so that he can somehow kickstart his economy. Which is not a bad idea, considering the situation inside his base, that he's definitely not gonna be getting back anytime soon. And with this being more or less A bit of a stalemate, slowly, ever so slowly moving forward for InLove's. It's nothing really all that major, but with those reinforcements coming up, it's gonna be that. And with the attack also coming on the left side in the opposite direction, Kamigawa not going to be able to withstand the pressure. You can see he was trying to amass a huge amount of bloomed archers for some kind of decisive attack. It's just not gonna be working because his opponent, Noisig, well, he does have the good combination against Mayan. Plenty of elite Mangurais with the siege rams, and that's gonna be leading to the GG. So, okay. A home map for RVKs is gonna be coming for InLove's, and we're gonna be heading for the second map of this best of 3 of the round of 16, and that's gonna be home map for InLove. Not sure what it's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised by another Arabia, to be honest. If I remember correctly, they are kinda partial to this map. And looking how this went, they might be having some kind of idea that it's actually fine for them. But yeah, well, this was actually quite a nice game. Coming all around, being all around game and all around the map. And you could have seen that not even the stolen boar by Pete Martel at the start from his opponent, White Court, could help him in the long run. Didn't really help him at all. Plenty of dead villages, but it was just free pop limit. Okay, well, let's go into the achievements. That's gonna be White Court at the highest score. Well, I kinda like how all InLove's actually played. I kinda think that it was pretty good team play by them. I really like that. With more team communication, I think by RVKs would have been better to help Soxy preserve a few villages that he lost. Kinda needlessly, but yeah, well. That's how it was. Kamigawa into Soxy for the Paladin, I guess, but didn't make much of a difference in the end. Ending at 173. Well, that's that. GG.